you need about, turn down about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of what they call suction. Is that tip is always gonna want to pull down into the ground. You gotta have suction, and that's what's keeping your plow in the ground right there. And then it teeters off the back on here, because you're gonna say, well, okay, it's gonna keep going down and down and down and down. Well, it would, except for the fact when your plow goes into the ground, it goes down kind of, you adjust it with these levers so it goes down level. So it's riding on the heel of your land side here, see. This point out in front here is sucking and wanting to go down, but it's rocked back kind of onto this heel, and this heel is not letting it go down, and that's what keeps it going at that constant plane all the time. And by going to go deeper, then you just, you got to change the attitude of this angle a little bit so that it goes a little deeper into the ground. I know it's some people, when I first started plowing, and I just thought you automatically drop the plow and it goes in the ground, but you have to have, not only do you have to have suction going down, you also have to have 1/4 to 3/8 of suction so it wants to pull towards the land all the time too. Because if you don't have a suction going towards the land, especially on a walking plow, it's going to take off and want to go that way. So, and it's getting to be kind of a lost art, and it's probably even harder. You have to find somebody that'll hammer your lays out anymore. I've made a few ones. I make some new ones occasionally for some plows that are, most of your old shares are non-existent. They don't make them anymore. So some of these plows are, once you get them, if the point wears out and you don't know how to make a new share, or you're pretty well done. So you're
that was welded.
Yeah. This one was welded on. I remember when I was young, you could buy. It was actually from Tractor Supply Company, where you could just take your lay and cut this whole part off with the torch right there. Just go straight across, and they sold brand new weld-ons, and you weld it right on there. And then you could always get another pound hammering. What they would do is put them in the forge, heat them up red hot. They have a trip hammer, and then they'd pound the steel out and draw it back out to the length, to the point again. And when you put a new point on, sometimes you could get another couple hammerings out of them before they were ready to either be thrown away or rebuilt one more time. I've been practicing, and I've got a forge and everything, and I've been making some new reproductions, you might say, from AR plate, AR steel and stuff like that there. So, it would probably be, if somebody was one of the young guys was into forging and things like that, it'd be a good little sideline to get into, because there's a demand out there to some extent for it, because there is nothing else. It's just the way it is. Either that, or the only other option in this particular case, if your bottoms wore out or your shares are that you can't get them anymore, you can go to like Pioneer Equipment here. They'll sell you some new Oliver bottoms. Some of these plows, the Oliver bottoms, they have the same bolt hole on the frog. They'll bolt right up to this, and then they've got what they call a throwaway lay on there. It's a lay. Once it's wore out, you throw it away, pay $14.95, and put a new one on. They're readily available. And but if you got an odd breed, you might have to make a new frog to mount it with. So you get these 3 bolts right in here to line up and stuff.
So the frog is the plate?
The frog is this part right in here. It's kind of like a V part right here that goes underneath.
Okay.
Your moldboard attaches to it. Your plow chair down at the bottom attaches to it on that side. Your land side attaches here, and then it attaches the whole works to the main beam. So you can put new bottoms on these, and they do work fine. But it's you're looking at some money, because you're gonna have to buy all new parts, and then they're modern, updated parts. So everything is available then again, once again.
Right.
And if you got a good plow and you really like it, it's probably a cheap investment to go that way, because you're going to be looking at, I'm guessing probably $300 to $400 range to re-outfit it, and that's not a bad price for having a new plow for today.
Yeah.
And some of these plows, people have gotten to really like them. It's kind of a, you know, you kind of got to get used to them and how they work and everything. And some people will get along with one particular brand really well, and others can't do it. You know, and so just if you got a favorite and it's working great and you want to update it, it's a lot of there's probably a good chance you can.
What about instead of heating and drawing out your edge again and your point, what about grinding? I mean, back then they didn't have grinders, so that's
Yeah.
Could you grind them?
Not
get a sharp share again?
Not necessarily. A lot of times, on the edges part here, you could sharpen. The nose part, generally, what happens when they get worn out is they wear on an uphill plane, and then what they want to do is plow themselves out of the ground. So by grinding, you got the bottom wore out. So generally, when you heat them, what you do is you heat them and draw out that point, and then you turn that point down to get your suction back. In some cases, you can take and weld a piece on here to reproduce that point. You have to be. It's easily done. You might have to do a fair amount of grinding, things like that, because if you don't have a nice slick surface, your moldboard, what they call, it won't scour. It'll start hanging up on there, and if it doesn't scour, then it's kind of gets back to what they call, or you want to say, plow. And all it's doing is just pushing solid against the dirt.